Hello again from my front porch. Yep, still here. Did not get blown away in the storms. Yay! But this has been an interesting. I like my shirt. I'm wearing my Festive, my Kermit the Frog shirt. Hi, hello, Kermit the Frog here. I actually had to change, freshen up because I was outside sweating up a storm. I have decided that it was time to do a little house cleaning. And there was a lot of stuff, and house and garage cleaning actually. There was a lot of stuff in both places that needed to go away, and they were larger items. And so, some of them were larger items, and some was just a lot of items. And so I rented a dumpster, smaller size dumpster, but rented a dumpster to put the stuff in. and so today I used a good chunk of the earlier part of the day to focus on that, to get that all squared away. And for the most part, there's probably a few things still in my garage that I could purge out, but I feel pretty good about where it's at now. That it looks much better. There's still a little bit of work to be done there, and some things inside the house and in my storage building, some other stuff, that I was able to, and I had some friends I let make use of it too, because I realized that I was not going to fill the whole thing up, and I'm going to pay the same amount for it no matter what. So so that I was working on that today, and was reminded yet again how I am not as young as I used to be, and that I cannot do as much as I used to do, and that I have to now take it easier, that I have to sometimes pause and take a break and drink lots of fluids, because when you're young and stupid, you can just do whatever you want. But then you get to be more mature and you have to be more mindful of certain things. Now, I'm not. Sometimes I'll share some of the stuff, and it's like I'm just meandering mentally as I'm alluding, as I'm preparing to get into whatever it is I want to share. But this time it actually ties into what I wanted to address this time, because this whole notion of as you're getting older and you got to be mindful of things, and stuff doesn't work kind of the way with my parents. They're discovering that with my dad. His hearing is declining, his eyesight is declining, just his body in general. He doesn't have the dexterity in the hand, the finger control, doesn't have the strength to do stuff, to lift stuff, and it frustrates him. It clearly, because he knows that he used to do these things. This is stuff he used to do, and he still wants to do. But his body, he can't do certain things because he doesn't have the finger dexterity. He doesn't have the eyesight to be able to do it, and it gets frustrating for him. And I can appreciate that, especially like today, like I experienced myself. But it is interesting how all of us, to an extent, now some of us are a little more reluctant to accept the reality of those things, but we all, to an extent, understand how our body can limit what we can do, and we can mentally understand why our body might limit what we like. For example, getting older. Okay, I understand. I don't like it, but I understand that it means I have to change some of the things I do, that I have to slow down some of the stuff that I do. And it could be any number. I've injured myself. I broke my arm, or I broke my foot, and so now I have to, while that's all being done, or I had a knee replacement, or whatever, and so I have to change my behavior. I have to change what I'm limited to what I do, because my body won't let me do. We get that. We grasp that. What I'm becoming aware of, and I'm saying I'm becoming aware of because I'm slow. It's not that this is new. And from some of you watching, you'll be like, well, duh, Paul. How'd you not know this before? Well, the truth is I did know it, but it's just, some things but they just don't register. They're just not front of mind. And lately I've had a number of conversations with many friends, individuals who are about as varied as you can get by any definition. And what all of them have had in common, to some degree or another, is that they have struggled with being broken and damaged inside, being limited to what they can do because of what is inside. Inside here, inside here. See, again, when we're damaged physically, or we're past the expiration date, we understand that those things have a physical impact on what we can physically do. But there are times when we are limited, even I'll say even crippled, by something internal or something mental. And first of all, sometimes it's hard to even acknowledge that, for us to even recognize that about ourselves. It's difficult for us to understand that the reason I'm not able to do this, the reason I stopped doing that, was because of something that broke internally, something that is damaged mentally. Not that your brain damaged. I'm not trying to make light about it. I'm trying to be clear. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying there's something wrong. No. What I'm saying is we mentally and emotionally talk ourselves into the corner or into a hole or into the shadows. And I would love to start giving you examples of what I'm talking about, but as soon as I did, some of those friends would be watching this and going, hey, what are you doing, Sharon? Talking about what are you doing? I'm not saying any names or anything, but still, I don't want to offend anybody by divulging something that, even though I'm not saying names, if you know, it's like there's I have a cartoon a day calendar. And they used to sit on my desk when I worked in an office here in Des Moines. And it was mostly a religious themed calendar, but not all of them. But one of them was this picture of a church, and the pastor is up at the pulpit talking, and all the congregation is turned and looking at this one person in the congregation who has this really mortified look on their face, and the pastor is saying, and let me again emphasize, that example I just shared is not about anybody in this church. Because, it's like, okay, hey, I thought I was just sharing a journey. I was not talking, this is not, again, I don't want to offend anybody, so I don't want to be guilty of that. So, what I would instead like to do is to just simply say this. I'll use myself as the example. I have, turning the pages back to 9 years ago, a little over 9 years, 9.5 years ago, when I got divorced. And in the time after that, and we've talked about this here on the front porch, probably multiple times, that I went through a little bit of self-discovery. And part of that self-discovery was that I recognized that there were elements of myself that I had pushed aside, that I had so put to the forefront, looking out for everybody else and being who everybody else who everyone else needed me to be, that I wasn't really even giving any thought to who did I want to be, what did I want to do. And as a result of that, as I began to be aware of that and make some changes, it became very clear to me that I had self-inflicted wounds. That a specific example, dancing. I am not a good dancer. I mean, I've never studied any kind of dancing. You say, I want to go ballroom dancing. I want to do swing dancing. I want to do, whatever. Nope. I have never taken any dance lessons of any kind whatsoever. But I do enjoy music. I enjoy live music. I love going to see live music here in Des Moines. Des Moines is really blessed with having a very diverse live music scene with some really incredibly talented people. And so it's really great to go enjoy those. But I was reluctant to go out and dance. And the reason I was reluctant to go out and dance was because I had here and here self-inflicted a perception on myself that I was no good at it, that I looked stupid doing it. And some of it came from watching others who were older than me out doing amazing stuff on the dance floor and thinking, phew, I can't even compare with that. But other parts of it was just for other external factors and internal factors of believing that I just wasn't good at it, that I bounced too much, or that I, moved too fast, or that I, whatever. Internal critical dialogue, up here. And because of that, even when I was then flying solo after my divorce, I would go to the live music and people were dancing. People would try to get me to get up and dance. And I'd be like, no, which is what a lot of guys do. Usually the dance floor is filled predominantly with the ladies because they're up there enjoying it. And the guys, we're all back there going, oh. Well, I don't remember exactly when it happened, but I finally got talked into going out in the dance area. I won't say the dance floor because a lot of the places, the live music venues, it's really just kind of this open spot at the front of the stage where there aren't any tables. It's not really a dance floor. But I got talked into going out and be a group of people, again, mostly ladies, and dancing. And at first I was still very, probably very stiff. I'm not saying that I'm amazing now, but I will tell you this, all these years later, when I go out now to the live music scenes and my friends are there, hey, Paul, come dance, I am more than ready to get up and dance, assuming I'm feeling up to it and I got the energy for it. But I go out and dance, and I am, for the most part, oblivious to what anyone might think about how I'm moving or what I'm doing. And that has brought an element of joy. Because I still, if you were to video me and I were to watch it, it would probably really bug me because in my mind, I'm dancing better than I probably am. But the point being, I have healed that part of me that was damaged and said, you can't do this. And as a result, when I now do that, it feels very rewarding. It feels very fulfilling. It is how I am able to actually interact with the music that I'm enjoying. Now, does that mean I dance to everything? No, not at all. But the point is, I'm willing to. I'm willing to get out and dance when I, for a long time, was not. Now, I'm not saying that about myself to target anyone else. I'm not saying that to say that I'm better than anyone else. I'm simply citing that as an example of there was no reason that I should not have been doing that activity, except I had allowed something to be damaged inside me. Again, both from external factors, but also internal voices as well. And I had allowed that to twist and to even to some extent poison who I was because I was denying myself something that clearly I enjoy. And when I recognized that, and when I started forcing myself to do it anyway, the healing began. Now I want to really just pause there because again, people have all kinds of things, and I'm not saying everything can just be fixed by, just think good thoughts. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. But there are a lot of things that we become damaged with inside. There are a lot of things that we carry around as baggage up here that we don't need to, that we can move past it. We can overcome it. We can heal and grow and nurture and be healthy. But did you catch what I just said about what at least worked for me? I didn't fix it and heal it and then start dancing. I forced myself to give in and to do some dancing when I didn't really feel like it, when I was self-conscious about it. I still had people encouraging me, and that was important. And that's what I'm trying to do to you. I'm trying to encourage you, whatever it is as soon as you heard me start talking about this stuff, you had something come to your mind, and whatever that is, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't feel like doing whatever. I didn't, in this case, dancing. I didn't feel like doing it on my own. But I had other people encouraging me, pulling me out, pushing me out, like I'm trying to do with you now. And so I gave in. Okay, begrudgingly, reluctantly at first, but I gave in. And gradually, as I continued to do that wound inside, that damage inside, began to heal, began to correct itself. Until now today, I don't have that issue. I still know I'm not a good dancer, but I will get out and dance because I enjoy it, and I always did. I always did enjoy it. But I'd let that part of me get damaged for a variety of reasons. And so my encouragement to you, just like, I had to figure out today when I was throwing stuff out and carrying stuff and doing things, I had to figure out, okay, I had to stop and I had to pause and I had to let myself rest. I'd drink some water, keep, blah, blah, blah. Do the same thing. Stop and think about what that thing is. Be willing to put yourself out there. Force yourself to take baby step in going back into that, into doing whatever that was. But then also give yourself the grace to be able to pause when you go, okay, that's enough. That's enough. I'm good for now. That's okay. And when you do that, that doesn't mean you retreat all the way. It doesn't mean that you failed. It doesn't mean that, oh, no, it's not going to work. No, it means you did a little and you were done. And the next time, you'll do a little more and then you'll be done. And then you'll do a little more and you'll be done. And eventually, it'll be done and you'll be happy. So that's my philosophical, whatever, pep talk for you. But it's also pep talk for me. It's a reminder to me that these things can be overcome. And whatever it is that you're feeling, whatever it is that's burdening you, it can be dealt with like this. So, just some food for thought. Take it for what it's worth. Just some guy on his porch telling you. All right, with that, I'll let you go and I'll see y'all next time from my front porch.